The recently concluded general elections in Nigeria were characterized by high stakes and intense competition, with a record number of candidates vying for positions at both the national and local levels. The elections, which began on February 25 and ended on March 1, were closely watched both within Nigeria and across the international community. In the end, the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, was declared the winner, sparking mixed reactions and widespread debate about the credibility and fairness of the electoral process. With opposition parties and civil society groups voicing concerns about irregularities and potential vote rigging, it is clear that the issues raised by the elections are far from resolved and will continue to shape Nigeria's politics in the months to come and even years. My name is Keminni Amanor, and you're welcome to the square. Joining our gathering today is Olakunle Olumide Olabinjo. He's a legal practitioner based here in Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you so much, Olakunle, for your time here.
Thank you.
Indeed.
It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Now, let's start off with the numbers we have had so far. When you look at the performance of the APC, even in the 2019 elections, and you compare to now, what would you say are your readings into these numbers?
Actually, comparison of their last performance in the 4 years ago compared with this just concluded election at the presidential level, you can say that they had a very good contenders. So to them and to APC family, they know that it's not just a free ride to victory now. Be above the expectation that people could contend with this particular, they could contend with the ruling party in a way that reduced their votes in this particular election, just concluded election. So the other party that emerged and contended with them for the presidential election really did a good job. So to me, APC will have to go back to drawing board and know that it's not a free ride to electoral sources of victory in Nigeria and in law.
And indeed, and perhaps it wouldn't just be the APC, because the PDP also lost numbers if you compare to the 2019 election. They pulled 6.9 million in this election, and in the previous election they pulled a little over 11 million. And so the PDP too will have to go to the drawing board, shouldn't they?
I think if they have to go to a drawing board, that could be to put their family meeting in order. Analytically, their vote were being divided by the emergence of two political parties that had their former member to be the contending candidate in this just concluded presidential election. If not that, they could have claimed Southeast. They will also have claimed Kano. So those people, the party or the candidate that claimed that they had the upper hand in Kano was formerly member of PDP, and the person that cleared everything in the Southeast was also formerly was PDP as a vice president aspirant in 2019. So with this, their vote were being divided. So that led to the reduction in their capacity to amass more votes than the last 4 years presidential election.
Very well. So let's stick with the APC for a bit before we talk about the showing of the Labour Party. You mentioned earlier that they need to go back and redo their homework given the performance, albeit a win. What would you expect them to be doing as a political party?
As a political party, there is a room for reconciliation. There is a room for reconciliation. You just have to call all your members, the big wigs, in the political party together. Come on, let's come to a reconciliation table. The G5, let's come to a reconciliation table. The people that are broken away, let's come to a reconciliation table. If that is not being done, they'll be forgotten and there will be just of history that there was a time we had PDP. But if they can still go ahead, set up a reconciliation committee, that please, let's listen to their grievances. Let's look into it. Let's strike out the balances, how this one will benefit from this one, how we can hold ourselves together as a big party that was under the same umbrella before the leakage in that particular umbrella that led to the somersault of the umbrella and the umbrella being damaged, serious.
I see. Let's talk about how easy you think this could be after such a fractured front going into the election. In spite of that, the Bola Tinubu ticket won. How easy would you think that, how easy do you perceive, or difficult perhaps, that reconciliation process will be?
Is it within the PDP?
Within the APC.
APC. Okay, within the APC. Take, for instance, in Lagos, when you look at it in Lagos now, there is one particular reconciliation they have started yesterday that, man, if case is not taken, this particular state this particular state, we have controlled it for almost 19 years ago. But now, what really shocked us in the presidential election is a great shocker. So from door to door, they have started. Within my vicinity, I've seen them, they have started. Door to door, hey, if there's anything that you have done, do this, they have done this, they have done this, let's come together and do that. And when we talk about APC, the reconciliation have to start from Lagos, and because all the mentee of President-elect, they came from Lagos before they went to their various states. So if they could just have a meeting as a political party, all their caucus meeting that they normally have, that let's suspend not now want to get into business. We have been given another chance to pacify Nigeria, that we are capable of doing it, of taking them to the promised land. That particular reconciliation can be done. And in reconciliation is somebody have to shift ground. You cannot have your 100%. If you know this is my own stake, this is my home complaint, this is my own this, every one of them have to shift ground. You cannot have the 100% of what you are claiming or you are asking for.
Indeed. And I know you spoke about the PDP earlier, so let's move on and talk about the massive showing of the Labour Party. Although the party came in third, its showing was very impressive when you look at the numbers it pulled, over 6.1 million votes in the 2023 election. What does it say to you about the Peter Obi campaign and the movement and the kick, really, it brought into the elections?
In fact and truly, factually, with all statistical gathering that we have seen and that we have gathered that has been announced, this is a new dawn concerning Nigeria political era. It has proved a point, and the youth, they have told us that if we are not ready, they are ready to take this particular country from the old politicians. And looking at the acceptance speech of the president-elect, he said it categorically there. The youth, I heard you loud and clear. That's it. He had them loud and clear. Through what? Through that particular Labour Party, because the youth spoke, they spoke through that particular Labour Party. And so Labour Party is a good thing that has happened to Nigeria political system, and it is a good thing that the youth they are now having a sense of belonging. That, man, we cannot just sell our destiny, we cannot sell our future again. Let's get into the business. And it's also, we need to correct emotion that has been carried on before the election on Saturday, that is just a social media movement. It's just a social media. No, It's no longer a social media movement again. It's a momentum. It's gathering, still gathering. By the next election, 2027, great thing will happen to that particular party if they can just still maintain that momentum, and a greater thing will still happen for a party that had no governorship candidate, that had no governorship seat before, and right now they are claiming. For the party that had no seats in the National Assembly before,
yes,
now they are claiming almost 79. Wow, what a breakthrough! You had not before, and now you are claiming almost 79. What a breakthrough! That is a great, ultimate breakthrough for the party. And it's just about a wake-up call to as many that are old politicians, that these particular people are now saying it is now for us to manifest, and they want to manifest indeed.
Very well.
What we have done in Lagos is a surprise to many electorates, and way that we observed the election, it was a surprise to us.
Very well. Let's do the last number, and then we'll move on to other issues. I want us to look at voter turnout. At 27.2%, is considered one of the worst in the history of elections for Nigeria. And so let's talk about this number. When you look at the numbers again, you compare to last year, even the last two elections. It's really concerning, and I wonder what you think about this, and how that talks about voter behavior.
Before the election, pre the election, there are a lot of tension in the country. Here and there, fuel scarcity, redesign of Naira, here and there, the mobilization of armed forces to certain parts of the country, So the tension was so high, closing down this one, we do this, we do that. So a lot of people, some of people, we have the understanding that was a voters' appetite. So a lot of people, some people they are just relaxing at home. I don't want to sacrifice my head, my blood for Nigeria. But at times, what we have to consider the fact that the youth this time around, they participated, and their involvement were more than ever before. So this particular just concluded election, what made people to relax was of the fact of the tension that we had in the environment, in the country. And some of the things that attributed to that were as a result of scarcity of this, and people seeing armed forces, military people with the khaki this, don't go out, don't do this. And that's attributed to that particular turnout.
Very well. Now, until there is a formal contestation of the results, it would appear that come May 29th, 2023, the Nigerian people will begin an Asiwaju presidency. And so let's talk about that. What kind of National Assembly do you think it would have in the realms of governance?
Before that, I will love that Nigeria will do one particular thing or the other to legislate it into the law. That all this particular decamping should not be allowed again. Once you have been elected, should not be allowed again. If it is not being allowed again, and you have a good you have the upper hand, the legislative arm of government, it will be very easy for the president-elect to pass across his bill being submitted to the legislative arm of government, because the majority will be in support of his vision, his plan, mission for the country called Nigeria. And it will be on the basis of their political constitution or political ideology that they want to move this particular country forward. So for having the upper hand in the legislative arm of government at the national level, APC is free to go, provided there's no division within themselves. If there's no division within the APC, they are free to go. Whatsoever the president-elect conceived as an idea, as a vision to move the country forward, it will just talk to the party member in the legislative arm of government. Please, there should not be delay of turning this particular financial bill, budget. Let's quickly pass it so that we get this ball rolling quickly, so that we do what we ought to do. And if there will be any change in concerning any of the industry or the policy, it will quickly put it into the law so that this thing should be passed as soon as possible. Contrary to what we witnessed during Saraki, when Saraki was when Senator Bola Saraki was the Senate president then. There were division within the houses, and houses that cannot stand itself, houses that is divided cannot stand itself. So I'm looking forward to a robust, legislative activity concerning the coming elected legislative and the president-elect. A cordial relationship between the arms of between the two arms of government.
We'll see how that goes, especially after the Labour Party caused some upsets in certain constituencies. But let's talk about the post-announcement speech by the president-elect. Now, he called on his opponents. He patted the INEC on the back for a credible election. He also talked to the public, he talked to the candidates to put the country first, and then he says a new hope and dawn has come for Nigeria. Our guess now will be that he and his administration will be that hope. I want us to analyze that speech and talk to us about what you think about it, particularly despite the contestations around the elections. He pats INEC on the back.
Well, just as one of them have said that in Nigeria, if you ask this particular divinity to come and conduct election, you cannot have free and fair election. So, regardless of what is happening, we are in the process of making it to be a perfect electioneering process. So we just have to thank and give kudos to INEC for what they had done. So I'm in support of the president-elect for thanking INEC for what they have done. Transmission through this particular into the central server, we are being told and we heard that was being attacked one way or the other, and uploading delayed this one and that. Despite that,
but don't you find it concerning that there was no acknowledgement of the difficulties, even from the public, what appeared to be some of the logistical constraints of the electoral process? That definitely should concern you, shouldn't it?
In that particular acceptance speech, he made mention of the fact that they have not arrived, that they are still in the process of perfecting it. And he assured them that if there is anything to be done, by the time he assumed office, in order to perfect something, by backing it with law or putting in another fresh brain or fresh vision into it, it will be done. So, but being an umpire, you need to acknowledge the fact that they have tried. They tried, INEC tried their own best. So all Nigeria, all we need to do is just to acknowledge the fact that we are adapting to this particular situation. We just have to thank God for the stage in which He has brought us far to this particular point in time. If you want to talk about INEC, there are some things that the INEC need to do themselves. There should be proper training for as many that they are being recruited as ad hoc staff. There should be proper training. The training were not adequate enough. Call people for 3 days training in the evening, and for them to be using Bivas. It's not. I mean, for them to use Bivas, and the Bivas were not available during the training. No. And it is the day of the election. They are seeing it for the first time. How do you expect the person just to handle just a technology, a device just like that for the first time? During the particular training, they should have been acquainted to that particular bypass and say, this is how you do it, this is how you do it. During the training, it was not there.
Well, INEC would have to INEC would have to answer, questions around training, and hopefully, as discussions around the aftermath of the elections go on, we'll hear more. Because that here on News Central, we've also heard about the fact that there was training, but at some point there were infiltration of people, allegedly infiltration of people who were not part of the training, and so INEC will need to look into that and then answer that question. But until then, we'll move on to other matters. Now, you mentioned earlier that, in fact, referring to his speech, that he's heard the youth. But the thing is, hearing is also different from actually doing something that will positively affect the young people of Nigeria. And I guess that is where the impassioned young people are coming from. In an Asiwaju presidency, what would you be expecting him to do for young people?
Young people, the first thing that Asiwaju should do is to stop this particular brain drain we call Japa syndrome. No. That song should be stopped, and there should be policy to encourage young people to stay in Nigeria. He made mention of the fact that your university will not be shut down again. Good. University should be open, and he made mention of that, the fact that the university will get their status of autonomy. Yes, that is good. Financial autonomy of university, that's good. So the Japa syndrome should be stopped. Should do something. Bring people, gather people that are think tank. That what should we do to stop this particular syndrome of Japa, giving our best brain to the European, giving them to the Americans. Why can't they stay in Nigeria and do all this particular thing for us? So the first assignment before him to the youth is to stop this Japa syndrome. And for him to stop that, a good policy that will encourage the youth to stay in Nigeria, that I have acquired knowledge, I have acquired this, I have this particular talent, I want it to use for the betterment of Nigeria, for me to manifest the glory of Nigeria to the next level. These things should be done, and that particular policy to be a policy that will encourage the youth in this particular country. And that particular university that has made mention of ASUS will be settled. There should not be any loggerhead between the government and ASUS again. We are fed up of closure of university gates, tertiary institution gates here and there, because an idle man, it is devil workshop. If they are in school, they will invent so many things, research will be done, their talent will be discovered, and they will make use of they will make use of it for the betterment of the nation. You mention of student loan. Let there be student loan, which is very good because he enjoyed it when he was in America. He said
so Olakunle, what we're going to do is we'll take a quick break.